Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Racing. I am Luke Etheridge, and I will be taking you through round 5 out of 22 of the championship, back to another new circuit on the F1 calendar. It is Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Should be an interesting race tonight, and we might even see our 4th different winner in a row, because the last time out, Jonathan Cox took a fantastic victory in the AlphaTauri, going for the alternate strategy, starting on the medium tyres, moving to the softs. He made it pay off. He took the victory. Paulie Orange coming through in second place as well, in what was a good result for him. Total Pease is still leading the championship, but his lead has been significantly reduced. Now it's time, though, to see who is going to get the 4 bonus points in the qualifying session, as I think, actually, wait and see who we go on board with first. All the drivers will just be getting ready, of course, for this Dutch Grand Prix, brought back to the calendar originally for 2020. Obviously, with the coronavirus pandemic, has had to be cancelled for this year, but I'm sure it'll be a fascinating race next season. Everyone obviously just getting their tyre choices ready for this circuit. The bankings do cause quite a lot of load on that front left tyre, as we are, it looks like we're on board with Andenge, but I might change to see what Jonathan Cox is doing. Last week's race winner. In fact, we'll follow Total Pease, championship leader then, as he heads now down towards turn 1 of this much changed circuit since it was first used many years ago. Going through turn 2, 3 and 4 now, keeping tight to the left hand side. You want to get the best possible exit as you come then through 4, 5 and 6, heading down now towards the very tricky turn 7. You can't take it flat, you have to brake down to 7th gear, but you need full commitment through 7 and through 8 as well. And you see Total Pease just lifted off there slightly, going through sector 1. He was the fastest, but it looks very close between him and Droftas at this moment in time. You've got to be careful then coming through turn 10. You get on that DRS, heading down now towards turn 11. One of the best overtaking opportunities on the track. Heavy braking into the chicane at 11. And then through turn 12 as well. Keeping it nice and tidy in the Mercedes, as he has done all season. Our championship leader, can he get the bonus 4 points tonight? Turn 3, well, the penultimate corner I should say, wasn't the best from him. Flat through the final corner though. It looks like this is going to be fast enough for Total Pease, and it is a 108.909, but you can just see how close it was. And Denge within a tenth of a second. Droftas not too far behind. I think it's Liam MD must have made a mistake somewhere on his lap, but hasn't invalidated, so that will be good enough for 16th position for him. But it's Total Pease, the championship leader, starting on top form once again. So there we go, you can see Total Pease on top, and then seconds, Droftas in third. Fatality in the Ferrari is 4th, Aylan 5th. Last week's race winner, Jonathan Cox, is in 6th position. Ole is 7th. Farhad 8th, Willem in 9th, Mars in 10th, KRC in that magical 11th place, so he will get free tyre choice. Cruxy just behind in 12th, Paulie Orange is 13th, Treminator 14th, Zmitsky is 15th, Liam MD is 16th, NUF1, Art Vandele and Thais didn't set a valid time, and Energetic 6 crashed out on his lap, just proving how tricky this Zandvoort circuit can be. I've just been told by Treminator as well, we are going to get a wet race, which always makes things a bit more exciting, especially around this circuit. And you can see it looking very wet and very dark, overcast. Obviously, with the name Late Night Racing, where possible, they do run late night races or racing at dusk if that's not possible. So it'll be interesting to see what setups everyone has gone for. You do normally need quite a lot of downforce for this Zandvoort circuit anyway, and I'm sure that won't change now. Obviously needing more to handle with these wet conditions. It'll be interesting to see whether it stays fully wet all the way through the race, or whether we will get any dry conditions at any point. So I'll quickly run you through the championship standings. Then, as I said, last week we saw Jonathan Cox take the victory. That's good enough to move him into third in the championship, just 1 point behind Andenge, who is second. Total Pease now with a 12-point lead at the top on 73 points. And Williams, thanks to Andenge, and let's not forget Breadstick's fantastic victory in Vietnam. Williams are leading the Constructors' Championship at this moment in time. It looks like intermediate conditions for everyone at the moment. Possibly borderline, I must say, judging by the weather that I've seen. Doesn't look too bad, though, on board Total P's. If you're on board someone else who's in the middle of the pack, though, we'll wait until it all closes up a bit. As you can see here, just on board with Poorly Orange is a lot worse if you're finding yourself in the middle of that spray. Very difficult indeed. So we'll be fascinated to see how the drivers cope with that. No compulsory pit stop in these conditions, although you've got no chance of getting these intermediate tyres until the end anyway, as Crooks is getting a nice little slide on up ahead, just trying to find that grip. These banked corners especially will be treacherous in these conditions. Last race winner here in Formula 1 was Niki Lauda. His final victory in Formula 1, the 25th and final one for the Austrian driver, was second at the time behind Jackie Stewart for most Grand Prix victories. Obviously we've seen Prost, Senna, Mansell, Vettel, Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton pass that number. It's very possible over the next few weeks and months we will see Lewis Hamilton pass Schumacher's record of 91 and maybe even sneak into the hundreds. What do you guys think? How many race wins will Lewis Hamilton end his career on? Because that is a position he has been quite often in, the one that we are seeing Total P's in right now, position number 1 on the grid. Can he get the victory? If he finishes, he's got himself 4 points for that pole position. One of the major differences between LNR points rules and the real Formula 1 rules. The other slight difference is if you get the fastest lap, you get the point regardless of where you finish, as long as you finish. If you don't finish, no points for anyone. So keeping going till the end, absolutely crucial. Great to see we've got a full grid. Energetic 6 has shown some good performances so far this season, and he will be the last car coming to the grid. But who will get the victory today? Will it be Total P's? Will it be Andenge? Can we see Jonathan Cox pull something off, or will it be someone coming from further down the grid? I'm sure it's going to be very exciting. These 36 laps around Zandvoort. Energetic 6 getting into position now as we wait for the lights to come on here then in Holland. Going to be Dutch Delight for one of these drivers, but which one's going to be able to take advantage of the tricky conditions? We've seen rain a couple of times now here at LNR. Seems to be having to wait an awfully long time for the lights to come on. Just adding to the tension for all of these drivers. There we go, finally the lights are coming on then. We've got 5 lights here at Zandvoort. And the Dutch Grand Prix is underway. It's a decent start from Total P's, and Den's not able to get alongside him on the run down to turn 1. It all looks very steady at the front of the race, and Den's trying to send one actually up the inside in the Williams. That's a very brave move this early on in the race in these conditions. He's not able to get ahead, and that puts him under threat from Droftas. Just behind, we've got one of the Alpha Tauris. That'll be Jonathan Cox trying to battle with Fatality in the background, and Aylin. Yellow flags, I believe that is Thies who has gone round in the Alfa Romeo. So it'll be 2 Alfa Romeos, 10th and 11th at the moment, although that is of course a timing glitch, and hopefully that will be fixed at some point. They're not on lap 2, they're on lap 1, as we've got another one, and that is Liam now in the other Alfa Romeo, has spun round. Be interested to see if he's got any damage. Looks like he might be missing parts of his front wing, so he'll have to pit extremely early on, but it's still Total P's leading, and then second. This is the view from Droftas, currently in 3rd position at this moment in time. Just struggling for grip so much. We'll get an idea exactly how wet it is when we see what sort of lap times. In the dry you'd be expecting 112s, 113s possibly in fully dry conditions in your full fuel loads. There's the strategies you'd expect if it stays dry. If it stays like this, sorry, everyone will go for that one-stop strategy. Can't see you going for the 2-stop unless you get damage, or the pit lane loss a lot less here than it is at some other circuits. At the end of lap 1 though, Total P's is in the lead of this race, and Den's second, Droftas third, Fatality is in 4th position. There you can see a 127.7, so at least 10, 12 seconds slower than what they'd be doing in full dry conditions. Will it dry out for any of these guys, or will they have to cope with rain all the way through? But Total P's leading, and then second, Droftas third, Fatality is fourth. Alan, who's shown some good performances, probably one of the best drivers on the grid, yet to win, as Thies gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's not going well for the Dutch driver. Liam coming in as well. They're going to be busy boys to mechanics at the Alfa Romeo team at this moment in time. Well, here we go, on board with Alan then, still hanging about in that 5th position at the moment. What will he be able to do as the race goes on, as Andens looks to have run slightly deep there. Slightly deep, I believe that was into turn 9. William Shaw gets himself a penalty for exceeding track limits. Not quite sure how he's gone off so dramatically in the early stages to get himself a 10-second penalty for that, but he has done somehow. The two Alphas just working their way out the pits, as well as I think Thies is off again. He's got big front wing damage. It wouldn't be surprising, I don't think, if one of these two are the first retirements, because they seem to be really struggling at the moment. Nearly a lap down already, the pair of them, as we come towards the end of lap 2, and it's still Total P's in the lead at this moment in time, and Engine second. You can see Alan's got a much better run there than the Ferrari of Fatality coming round into turn 1. Alan all the way around the outside. Cruxy coming into the pit, so I wonder if he got some damage, maybe contact with Willem Shaw. I know the two of them were close on the grid together. There we go. Alan is for Fatality, down to 5th, and Jonathan Cox, we know he doesn't mind throwing a move down the inside. Some great driving from him to take his first win of the season. That got him 3rd in the championship. Currently he is in 6th position, and Denge in 2nd. He's a man who's always been the bridesmaid so far this season. Had a couple of second places, 2nd in the championship, not yet to translate one into a victory. It looks like Total Peace is getting away, but it looks like he's under more pressure from Droftas than he's put in the Mercedes under pressure, if I'm being truthful with you. You could just see there, and Denge, that's not the best exit. He's getting through that corner, and is this going to be a chance maybe for Droftas to send one up the inside? Not at this moment in time. He's just going to wait, bide his time, and it's another speeding penalty for the Alfa Romeo of Thies. It's not going to plan whatsoever for these guys. And hear how careful they're having to be on the throttle at the moment. So Droftas staying in 2nd, and staying in 3rd, sorry, and Denge's on a much better lap that time around. And there you can see, fastest lap of the race, 1:21.1. So obviously with that first lap, you can say they're about 7, 8, 9 seconds off what you'd expect in fully dry conditions, as Fatality's having to defend here from Jonathan Cox, who's going to have the inside line for turn 2, and that is going to be a straightforward overtake for the AlphaTauri. It's a good job he did that. He's already dropped nearly 2 seconds back to Alan, as you can see on the timing graphics, but he didn't hang around last week. He's not hanging around here, as that, I believe, is where you can see Thies has retired from the session. I think Liam's facing the wrong way as well, somewhere up the hill. Will that cause a safety car, or even a virtual safety car? That might give an opportunity for some of these guys very early on, obviously, to maybe put a set of fresher intermediate tyres on. We've still got rain. It's nowhere near heavy enough for the wet tyres at this moment in time, but it looks like the marshals have been able to get rid of that Alfa Romeo. So we're down to 19 already in this race as we head towards the end of lap 4, coming into this chicane. No DRS into that chicane. There won't be until it is dry enough, and you will see the message from race control on the screen come up: DRS enabled. That is usually a sure sign it is dry enough for the slick tyres. Around that time you want to be next to the pit lane so you can dive in. It's been a better lap from Total P's this time. He's extended his lead to about a second at the moment, and there we go, fastest lap of the race, 1:20.967. So the times are coming down as you would expect for the first few laps on these tyres, as Onole trying to go down the inside. Al-Fahad at the moment. Williams battling Ferrari. We're getting that in real F1, but not at the front of the field, unfortunately. Much further down than even 7th and 8th for Zole. Very nearly losing it there in the Ferrari, and that's allowed Paulie Orange to sneak his way through as well. So Orange now into 8th. He didn't get the best line though, and you can see Ole's just going to try and go round the outside at 5 and 6. Nearly going off the racing line. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. Paulie Orange very lucky not to be taken out by that. Liam gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but Ole is now dropping a long way down the order. He is down into, it will be 14th position, and he's got front wing damage. So the Ferrari B team of Alfa Romeo seem to be struggling. One of the A team drivers as well Ole with that damage, trying to move his way up the order, and Fatality seems to be dropping further back as well. There we've got Droftas still in third. Still just hanging back. These top three getting away at the moment. Aylan's got a bit of a gap back to Jonathan Cox, who's got that gap to Fatality, who now, obviously with all the fun that's been happening, has a bigger gap back to Farhad and Paulie Orange. So Droftas in third position at the moment, as further down the back of the field, Mars, I think, has made a mistake somewhere coming up to the penultimate corner. He was in the points. He now drops to 13th in the Racing Point. Cruxy in 17th. It's not been a good day so far for the Racing Point team. On lap 6 though, everything going to plan for Total Bees as he looks to get back on form. The only multiple winner so far this season after taking the checkered flag first in the first 2 races of the season, as Droftas is looking extremely racy at this moment in time. Just saw him looking as though he was trying to get alongside Aylan, so maybe when it comes to pit stop time, we might see an undercut from the McLaren on the Williams. I'd expect if they're going for the 2-stop, you would pit around lap 12, lap 18 for the 1-stop. You don't really have to think too much about the tyre wear in on these intermediates, so I would expect 1-stop from most of the drivers. So Andenge, you can just see running wide at the moment. Droftas getting much better traction. That's the outside line though. For the chicane, he's ahead before we get to the corner though. Great driving from Droftas. He takes second position for now. Andenge down into third. Can he hold on to the coattails though of that McLaren as this race continues? See there, Liam just diving into the pits again. So Total Peace just looking in total peace really at the moment. Just comfortable in the lead, extending that gap ever so slightly as further back Cruxy's battling with Art Vanderlei. And Cruxy takes 16th position, trying to fight his way up through the field. Art hasn't pitted, Cruxy has of course, so this will be interesting to see what sort of times the Racing Point sets on those slightly fresher tyres. You'd imagine he only wants to pit once more as he nearly loses it. Very well held. Big damage from someone up ahead. I'm guessing that's Smitsky, who's broken his front wing right at the death there. Thankfully able to get into the pit. No severe damage done for him, but this is really proving to be tricky at the moment in these wet conditions. They're finding it hard. One of the Mercedes is anyway. He's gone for the hard tyres. Well. I mean, it's definitely still raining out on track, but Smitsky has gone for the hard tyres. This is going to be something to watch, people. You can just see how much he's struggling coming out of the pit lane. If I'd have gone for any, I'd have gone for the mediums maybe, just to have a bit more temperature, because the hards will last towards the end, but you're going to have to be so careful. Tiptoeing like there's about 1,000 thumbtacks on the floor at the moment. Smitsky very careful. Doesn't want to go full throttle at all. Really short shifting. You can see here about 10,000 RPM he's reaching. It was worth a shot when you're well down at the back of the field, and it does look as though the rain has stopped. Maybe just a lap or two early. Fastest man on the circuit though on these intermediates at the moment is Droftas, and he's got the gap down to within a second as Treminator got an NUF1 go ahead of Energetic 6. I wonder if we're going to see the Renault now. Is he going to put the intermediate, well, is he going to take the intermediates off and put some slick tyres on? Let's see what colour the tyres are that the Renault boys are putting on. It's another set of intermediates, and it's a tyre change and a front wing change as well. So Energetic 6 has changed his front wing. Farhad has now dropped behind Paulie Orange. We'll go back to see how Smitsky's doing, because I can't imagine he's having much fun whatsoever at this moment in time. Look how much he is struggling on those tyres. I think even he'd admit now he's made the wrong choice. It is nowhere near dry enough for slicks at this moment in time. Maybe in another lap or two, but he's lost about 4 or 5 seconds, I think, to Williams just when we've been on board with him here. So really struggling at this moment in time on those hard tyres, and he might even be out of the race here. The Mercedes in the wall, a la what Hamilton did at Hockenheim last year. Thankfully, both of them were able to continue. The good news for Lewis is he was right next to the entrance of the pit lane. Smitsky was right next to the exit. He's got no grip on those tyres. He'll have no tyre temperature whatsoever. And he's got a broken front wing, so the gamble has not paid off for Smitsky. He'll come into the pits. I imagine he might just put another set of hard tyres on. But even Liam's beginning to catch him up. He might be a lap down, but Liam will surely catch and just fly past him at some point. Total Peace there lapping his teammate as Farhad has disconnected from the session. That's why we're seeing that Williams drop down the order. And Total Peas is having to fly around at a supreme rate of knots now because Drofdas is all over the back of him all of a sudden. I did see Drofdas practicing in the dry conditions around here. Seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. The McLaren driver in this race, we'll see how he does. He was in the comms box last week alongside George and Pillars, and he's not doing too bad in the driving seat this time around. In second place, track definitely drying out, but with the spray that's coming off the back of Total Peas, be surprised if anyone else takes a risk on those slick tyres at this moment in time. They've dropped Andenge, who now seems to be under pressure from Alan and Jonathan Cox. So Jonathan Cox has caught right back onto the back of Alan, who takes a bit too much curb coming through that penultimate corner. That will compromise his acceleration through the final corner. Thankfully for him, Jonathan Cox is probably just a bit too far back, even for him to think about a lunge for turn one. Just shows himself in the mirrors of Alan, but decides better of it this time around. No one else, and I think that's quite wisely, no one else has come into the pits for select tyres. Smitsky definitely the odd one out at this moment in time, and I can see why. It is not dry enough at all. Intermediates are the only way at the moment, as I think Smitsky's off the game. He's just trying to carry on. Just trying to carry on with that front wing damage. I'm not sure I get the logic in this. I don't mind people carrying on, but these tyres clearly aren't right for the conditions. You have front wing damage. And you are just... You're probably going to lose more time on this lap than you would have done with a pit stop, especially when you're struggling through the corners like you are there. So Smitsky's staying in 18th as well. Thankfully for him, it is a long way back to Liam MD, but I think he's gained about half a lap on the last lap alone, so that gives you a clue. Smitsky's last time, we'll just quickly compare it, how he's doing, not even to the leaders, we'll just compare with how he's doing to Liam, who did a 1 minute 30 on that last lap, so Liam's struggling. Smitsky was a 1:55. So 30 seconds behind Liam, probably 35, 40 seconds behind these leaders at this moment in time. Why, oh why is he persisting with the slicks? Only one man knows. And he's currently about to find himself in last position in that Mercedes. Battling though at the other end of the field in the lead. It is Drofdas trying to get ahead of Total Peas at the moment. Lap 11 out of 36. When will we start to see the front runners come in for the slick tyres? Because the track's drying out, but obviously with these overcast conditions, it's not drying out as quickly as they would have liked. When are we going to see pit stops from these drivers? Who will be the first one to blink? Will it be someone in the top two? Will it be someone a bit further back? Jonathan Cox won last time out thanks to a strategic decision. He's in 5th place at the moment. Definitely, him and Alan are definitely getting held up by Andenge. I'd have to say, judging by the early laps, Alan probably more so than the AlphaTauri at the moment. So we'll just have a view back from Andenge. It was turn 10 where Drofdas got him earlier on. As Smitsky retires from the session, so we are now down to 18 runners. That was done in the pit lane, so no chance of a safety car, thankfully. Andenge, as I was saying, was done through turn 10 earlier on. This time he looks a bit more careful coming out of turn 10. Seems to be enjoying this race at the moment. Just about holding on. No, as I say that, he's gone into the wall in a big way. That is going to be severe front wing damage. Jonathan Cox is going to come past, and now Andenge has got to do a full lap. With that front wing damage, I imagine Fatality might start catching up to the Williams as well. Now though, will Andenge think about putting the slick tyres on? Will he decide he's not got enough to lose? Given the spray though, it still looks too damp at this moment in time. We've got a battle further down the field as well now between Cruxy and Energetic 6. That is the leader. We just had a bit of problem with the spectate menu. There we go. Cruxy in 15th. Energetic 6, having recently pitted, has got a lot more grip on those tyres, so you'd imagine he can afford to leave it a bit later than some of these guys. Some of the leaders will probably be thinking, if they want to pit for the medium tyres, next 2 to 3 laps will be the time to come in, maybe put those mediums on and see how they do. As Energetic 6 just giving us a lovely little four-wheel drift there coming through turn 1, showing that even on the fresher intermediates there's not a lot of grip, but if they stay on them too long, the tread blocks start moving. You have tread obviously on these tyres, you have tread patterns that you don't get on the slick tyres. That promotes more heating up of the tyres, and if it's too dry you'll just burn through the grip. We know these Pirellis are very particular at the best of times, even more so in these wet weather conditions. As now CRX Mars is in the wall. We've gone from one racing point to the other, and he's got big front wing damage. He'll be coming into the pits. I think he was near where KRC is, and that has caused a virtual safety car. No, full safety car, sorry. Well, I was not expecting that. We've only got a bit of front wing damage, and we've got a full safety car out here. We are seeing a few cars dive into the pits as well. Farhad, he was the first one. It's now the time to put the slick tyres on, because it looks a lot drier than it did earlier. And there we go, mediums going on to the Williams. This could have worked out perfectly for him. Could have worked out disastrously for some of those further up. The front 7 must be ruining their luck. Thankfully for them, they haven't come out behind the safety car, so everyone's just driving to a Delta at the moment. As Mars gets himself a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He was the driver whose incident coming through turn 7 and 8 has brought out the safety car. On the exit of turn 9, where he lost his front wing, he has brought out the safety car, and we've seen everyone from Farhad down has pitted. Couple going for the mediums. Farhad and KRC have both gone for the mediums, and Cruxy. A lot more though going for the hard tyres, and I'd expect all the leaders are now going to dive into the pits. Thankfully, no one from a team is close together, so we're not going to get any double stacking at the top end of the order. As here we go, everyone's just diving in then for the slick tyres this time around. The race leader putting on the hards. Droftas have actually dropped back a bit further. He's also going for the hard tyres, so most of the field don't feel confident on the mediums. Possibly those on the mediums hoping for another safety car, although you would expect these mediums to heat up quicker once the safety car has gone away, once it has been out. As we see there, Alan and Denge, has he got some front, he must be having a front wing change, yeah, and Denge is adjusting something on his front wing, whether that is strategical, and he did have that damage as well, so he drops down to 5th, Paulie Orange in 6th, Fatality 7th. They're all coming out ahead of Farhad, and out of the leaders, said he went for something different last week. Jonathan Cox going for something different again on those medium tyres, and lap 14 out of 36 under the safety car conditions because of an incident for CRX Mars, front wing damage. And now that the leaders are catching up to the safety car, we'll see there Art Vanderlei and Liam thankfully will be allowed to get out of the way. So good news for Liam is he won't get back onto the lead lap, unfortunately for him, but he will gain a lap. And Vanderlei was very close actually to losing out, as Liam being very careful not to take out the AMG safety car. That is not going to be the best thing you can do to annoy Bernd Meyerlander, so these guys can just go full pace up to the back of the field. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. Imagine lap 15 or lap 16 when we see the safety car coming in, as Mars is in the pits again. Perhaps he feels that he can go on the mediums. No, soft tyres, he's serving his penalty under the safety car. Willem Shaw might be doing the same thing. Liam has retired, but why would you put the softs on? And also, why has William got intermediates on again? And why is Art Vanderlei still out there on intermediates? Because, as you can see, it's pretty much dry at the moment. So, a couple of strange decisions there. William Shaw going back out on the intermediates. Mars coming in to serve his penalty, I understand. Going back out on softs, I don't understand. If you don't have any fresh sets of hards, why not just go? Why not just go for the mediums? Interesting. Very interesting indeed. From the racing point, who's now actually contacted William Shaw, and that's a bit amateur from the pair of them, really. I'm not quite sure what was going off there, but Mars has got front wing damage. William Shaw hasn't, so Shaw is 16th, Mars 17th. Out in front, though, it is Total P's then, by half a second at the moment. Obviously, we're just under safety car conditions, and the longer it stays out, the drier it will be on the restart. We've had the other man of Energetic 6 coming to the pit lane as well. He's put the medium tyres on. Perhaps also serving a penalty. Now, because all the pack's not bunched up, I can't see the safety car coming in on this lap. The game does like the pack to be bunched up, so surprised we're seeing this many people going for multiple pit stops. Liam's called himself an idiot, and I'm not... Has he spun... Did you spin off under the safety car, Liam? Because judging by what we saw William and Mars do, it's easily done as well. So Liam is out of this race, down to just 17. Willem Shaw now also out of this race. That is 16 runners. And still, Art Vanderlei on those intermediate tyres. I imagine they're pretty much cooked by now. Mars is coming into the pits again. He needs to be careful he doesn't drop off the lead lap here. It's another set of soft tyres. Front wing change. He's going to drop off the lead lap, I imagine. Because they're coming down the pit straight now. Even under safety car conditions, they are going to get ahead. So that is really bad news now for CRX Mars. He is a lap down in the middle of this queue as well. I'm not sure. I've never seen this situation actually on the F1 game. Will he be allowed to overtake everyone? It looks like it is. So that's not too bad for him actually. Mars may be allowed to just boost his way up through the field. Hopefully for him. And hopefully that means they won't be getting cars in the way. I'm not the biggest fan of this lapped cars. Can't overtake. And if it's one of your first races with traction control, Liam, fair play for doing it in these conditions. On the wheel, I could sort of do it. On the controller, it's just on the controller, I can do one lap. Well, 10 laps crashing off. So, fair play for giving it a go. All I can say is stick at it, and it will work out for you one day. As now Art Vanderlei comes into the pits, and because of how long it is taking the pack to catch up here, it's just extending the time of these safety cars. Bad news for those on the hard tyres. Good news for those on the mediums, because it's more likely they'll be able to get those to the end. So that is very good news for last week's race winner. Here we go in the Alpha Tauri, car number 19. Jonathan Cox must be feeling pretty good about himself at the moment, as we have actually got safety car coming in this lap then. So we will hopefully get 20 laps of racing. I think driving any speed on the pad, Liam, is impressive. So bravo to you, sir, especially with no traction control in these conditions. Total P's just warming his tyres up then. He's definitely going to need to do that in these conditions. It looks like there's a bit of smoke actually coming out of the back of the Mercedes. Probably just a bit of the oil burning that they're not supposed to do, but everyone knows is still a factor, as we're getting it off a few of the cars, able to see that in these dark conditions. And Total P's does this a lot. He leaves it very late. Cruxy has got a time penalty for a severe collision with Andenge, and he's facing the wrong way, so that's probably given Andenge a penalty as well. Jonathan Cox now gets one with Aylan. Thankfully for him, he's got no front wing damage, and he's got to be careful that he doesn't pass Aylan here. Total P's has just bolted it. He has gone, and there's all manner of chaos happening in the background. Aylan's leading this queue of Jonathan Cox. Farhad's gone for one down the inside. That was never going to work from that far back. And the Williams, luckily for him, he's ghosted. He's facing the wrong way. There's been some damage for a Ferrari. Droftas gets a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. It is all kicking off. It is Ollie with the damage. One driver, I think, can come out of that restart looking pretty happy with himself. That is Total P's. For everyone else behind, just a total mess. Droftas getting what seems like a harsh penalty, to be honest. He will have to serve that at his next pit stop, or it will get added onto his race time. He'll be hoping he doesn't pit again, because then it will just get added onto his race time. Jonathan Cox and Aylan, they also have some, and Denge and Cruxy as well. But absolute carnage on the first lap here. First lap after the restart, everything kicking off in this race. Further back then, and Denge now battling with KRC. He's dropped a long way down the order after that restart. So it looks like both of the Williams have had a disastrous start for the race. He's actually been into the pits again, I think, and put another set of the medium tyres on, because he was originally on the hard. So perhaps thinking the mediums are the best, as Cruxy in the barriers. Big front wing damage. He retires from the session out on track. And because he's done it out on track, that has caused another safety car. Oh dear. I don't like to see that, I'm going to be honest. I've said it on a few other streams. Not a fan of drivers retiring. Not a fan of them retiring in the pit lane. Not a fan of them retiring out on track, definitely. Bad show of form there, personally, in my opinion, from Cruxy, because this is what it does to the race. Neutralises it for everyone. We've got another safety car. We've got more and more drivers coming into the pits. Treminator now out on the mediums. They will be the best tyres to go for everyone. Good news for Ole and maybe some of those that had penalties, that they'll be able to serve them under the safety car and get rid of their damage as well. But it's Total P's and leading. Now this is going to be a very intriguing situation, because they won't get that free pit stop that they had earlier on, because the safety car has come out and managed to catch Total P's up straight away. So they're driving at a much reduced pace to those who are still catching up to the safety car. So they will not get a free pit stop. If any of these leaders come in they will drop a long way down the field. The driver who's probably looking in the best situation at the moment might actually be Treminator. In 10th position, he has done that extra second pit stop. See, Andenge has done 2, Energetic 6 has done 3, but Treminator has done those 2 pit stops, his second one under the safety car, sitting pretty at the moment, I think it's safe to say. I apologise, Cruxy. It just must have been just a delayed on my end, because the retirement came up a good 5 seconds after you'd hit the wall on my end, so I do apologise for that. Glad to hear you didn't retire on track, and a shame that you did retire from the race then. I don't think Jonathan Cox was too happy with the restart either, judging by his message in the chat. Mars coming into the pits, he'll be able to put the medium tyres on. They'll get him towards the end, finally getting rid of those softs. Maybe he can salvage something for racing points, because it hasn't been the best race so far. Unsurprisingly, none of the leaders coming into the pits. They'll be confident that their hards can last towards the end. And Jonathan Cox, now that he's actually got ahead of Aylin, he did switch around before the safety car came out. So good news for him, and he's still the lead driver on those medium tyres. You just still have to do a tiny bit more management than Andenge, who's not looking too bad in 7th at the moment. Energetic 6. Dan has done an extra lap on those mediums, as he was one of the first drivers to pit. Treminator, Orange, Ole, KRC and Mars all have fresh mediums on. The bad news for Mars is he's at the back of the queue and he's a lap down. So it's going to be very difficult unless there's another safety car, as he nearly goes into the back of KRC. You need to be careful in these conditions. You need to be careful always under the safety car. Watch out ahead of you. You've seen how easy it was last time around once everyone bunched up to just pick up a 5-second penalty. Don't want to do that, especially if you have to pit again, as you will not be able to get it removed in the steward's office, as thankfully it's only been a short one. Safety car coming in after 2 laps out on circuit. Will Total P's be able to get the better restart that he got last time? It was absolutely fantastic for him. Will we see a bit of a mess from everyone behind, or are they a bit more wise to what the Mercedes driver is doing? Because you can't imagine what he tried last time is going to work again here. As you can see here, Droftas just warming his tyres up. They need to be careful, because Jonathan Cox's will reach a temperature window a bit easier. The safety car's well in the pits. Total P's leaving it extremely late. This is fine as long as you don't go and slow down again. He's gone now. He's got a good exit straight away from that corner. Droftas lost a bit to Jonathan Cox, so we are go green once again on lap 20 here. Looks like a much cleaner lap restart than last time. And Denge trying to go round the outside of NUF1 here. He's on the medium tyres. He's gone way too deep into the corner. Will he be able to go all the way around the outside though at turn 2? Just look at the extra grip he's got in that Williams on those medium tyres. And Denge is up to 6, Energetic 6 now. He'll be trying to get past NUF1. We've seen Paulie Orange move past Farhad as well. So Farhad on the Zoda tyres, obviously not able to get them up to temperature quick enough. And Denge now getting past Fatalities, absolutely flying around the field at the moment, nearly crashing into the back of Aylin. I think he might have made a chase to his front wing downforce in the pit stops, and whatever he's done has worked absolutely fantastically for him, because he's shone off this restart. Jonathan Cox not able to get past Droftas on this restart this time around. We saw how quick he was off the restart last time, probably a bit too quick, as that's what earned him the penalty. This time he's just having to stay in second position. Third position, sorry, as Droftas is in second, and Denge has sent one down the inside of Aylin there, and now Denge is up into 4th. So Jonathan Cox is in 3rd place still. Now he's got Andenge behind him. He's going to have to be careful. Managed to go green for a full lap, which is good news. And you can just see how much drier it is. Total P's 113.489. And when you consider he didn't have the best start onto the straight, you could expect that time to come plummeting down throughout the race, as Ole has now gone past Treminator. And Art Vanderlei struggling a bit more maybe on those soft tyres. Jonathan Cox has sent one down the inside at turn 3 onto Droftas, so he's got ahead. We just missed that on the stream, but Droftas is now down into 3rd. Jonathan Cox in that 2nd position. And then just quickly caught up onto the back of these drivers as well, so this could be very interesting to see how quickly can Andenge work his way up, because given the pace he showed at the start, after the second safety car period. So all of last lap, he shot his way up. He was 6th, 7th position, I think. Then shot his way up into 4th place. So we'll have to see how he does this time around. Let's not forget, he qualified in 2nd, struggled a bit on the intermediate tyres at the start, went into the wall. Thankfully for him, the safety car came out and he didn't lose too much time repairing that. Went onto the hards, pitted again, went onto the mediums. And he's got fresher tyres than those around him and softer tyres, and the car directly ahead of him. Just look how much traction it's got coming off the final corner. I don't think Droftas will be able to do anything about it this time around. DRS, interestingly, has not been enabled yet. Will be this time around. There we go. Lap 22 out of 36. DRS will be enabled for the first time in this race then. And Denge might be able to take advantage of it. But looking at his ERS, you can see there, hovering around 20%. Once it's below 10%, overtake becomes useless, really. Once it hits to 0, you get no electrical energy. You lose that 150 brake horsepower. As Martin Brundle says, it's a family saloon car. You are going to feel the loss of that horsepower. Aylan's dropped back slightly as now he's got fatality all over the back of him for company, and these two escaping from the two VIL boys. NUF1 in 7th, Energetic 6th on the medium tyres in 8th position at the moment. He'll be wanting to get past as Denge has managed to get ahead of Droftas, who I think must have made a mistake just coming out of turn 10 there. Both of them had DRS. It was not a DRS assisted pass. As you can see, Droftas was a long way behind. He hasn't got any visible damage on his car, but he's off the podium places after looking so quick earlier on in this race. Was challenging Total Peace before the safety car. It's not worked out for him now that the race has dried out. It's working for Total Peace though. Fastest man again, a 111.602 at this moment in time. He is flying around the circuit for now. Further back down the field, you've got Terminator and Dan battling for 11th and 12th. Farhad DBN, dropping back to 12th position. Terminator then in 11th at this moment in time. They've got Mars, who is in between them. He is ghosting. He is a lapped car, but he can still get time penalties even as a ghost if you don't move out of the way in time. The game's a bit picky about that at times, so we'll have to see whether Mars does have to dive out of the way, because it can be distracting having a ghost in between you. As Ole getting a much better run there through 8 and 9 on Paulie Orange. Not able to go for the move though into turn 9. Otherwise I think that would have been a bit of a big accident between the two of them. Now though he's got DRS, as has the Haas ahead of him. Which way is the Ferrari going to go? Is he going to brave it down the inside into the chicane? And no, unless you're alongside, it's not really easy to have a go into turn 11. You've got to be extremely brave to send it from a long way back there and have an extremely willing driver alongside you. But at this moment in time, you've got to say, it looks like Ollie's got a bit more grip than Paulie Orange. That Ferrari sticking to the road better than the Haas at this moment in time, as Aylan drops to 6th position. Fatality, a straightforward DRS pass for him. He moves up into 5th place. Now Aylan, let's not forget, was 3rd on the first safety car restart. Can he stay ahead of NUF1? Can he maybe keep up with Fatality, who is on the same tyres? But it does look like the Ferrari, again, might just have a bit more pace at this moment in the race. Maybe though later on it will come to Aylan. Came so close to taking the victory in Vietnam, let's not forget, before he admits himself inexplicably just understeering in the wet conditions as the rain started to come down at Vietnam on the final lap, at the final hairpin pretty much. And that cost him the race. Still managed to get a podium there though, but doesn't look like he'll be able to make amends for that this time around. He's in DRS range, but dropping a long way down the order. Further back, KRC on the back of DBN. KRC has DRS, but again, as I said, if you're not alongside into that chicane, you're not really going to be able to get the move done, unfortunately. And Ole's still close to the back of Paulie Orange, but Orange seems to be a bit closer to Energetic 6. So these DRS trains, very effective around here. A lot of dirty air on F1 2020, especially around this circuit. Although Ole's got a much better exit, you can see him closing in, just not close enough to have a go into turn 1. KRC was close enough though to have a go on Farhad, and that is Red Bull into 12th position. They'll be running line astern soon. Terminator doesn't look to have the pace of some of these guys around him. He hasn't got any damage. He's in 11th position at the moment, and he'll soon have his teammate for company in 12th place. Further up the field, Energetic 6 still in this train. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to get ahead of NUF1 at the moment. NUF1's definitely not pitting again. Partner manager and Energetic 6 will be doing. Don't expect anyone to pit again, except perhaps Art Vanderlei will need to get rid of them soft tyres. So this is for position. And on the medium tyres, they are in a better state now. Not in a couple of laps' time, now. So now is when Energetic 6 has got to try and get past NUF1. Otherwise, Aylan, Fatality, Droftas and the three men on the podium at the moment, and Denji third, Jonathan Cox second. And as we start lap 26, Total P's in the lead. They'll just be too far ahead. And here we go, DRS open. He's got no ERS though. You get in contact and you can see, despite having that drag reduction system, that flap on the rear wing, which opens and gives you a bit of extra straight line speed, wasn't even able to close up to the back of the McLaren, so disappointed from him there. Ole still staying in 10th position for now, as Orange just gets a bit squiggly out of turn 3. He's not going to give the Ferrari a chance. Just needs to be careful, needs to set up the move here. You can't overtake into 7, you can't overtake into 8, 9 or 10 unless the car near you makes a mistake, so just needs to set it up, get a better exit through 10. Oh, actually he has gone for it, he's gone straight down the inside at turn 9. Thankfully Orange saw that one coming, but that's probably ruined his chances of having a better overtaking opportunity. Coming now down this next straight, you can see there the Haas has got the DRS as well, and Ole not able to get close enough, and I imagine Ole's beginning to get a bit frustrated, and judging by the dirt we saw being kicked up by the Renault of Energetic 6, looks like he's also getting frustrated at this moment in the race. No frustration though for the race leader. Total P's is leading, and Droftas, very interestingly, DRS assisted that will have been, but still, fastest lap of the race. Maybe it's just coming to these hard tyre runners a tiny bit more at this moment in time. Maybe they're feeling a bit more comfortable on these tyres. Maybe it's not over yet for Droftas to get up onto the podium and potentially even second place. It's going to be very interesting to see how Andenge, and especially Jonathan Cox on those older medium tyres, can cope in the final 10 laps. So here we go then, on board with Andenge. You can see Jonathan Cox just ahead of him at the moment, coming through turn 10. Just making an adjustment of the steering wheel there, changing perhaps changing brake bias, or trying to improve the handling on the car. And of course you can change your fuel load and your ERS setting, although thankfully we can see the ERS setting he's in at the moment. He's just staying in that lower one to make sure he's got enough to defend in case Droftas decides to go for an attack down this main straight. And again, don't think that McLaren is going to be fast enough, so lap 28 staying as you were for all these guys. Ole's closer to Paulie Orange than he has been at any point earlier, so maybe this is his chance. But again, Paulie Orange has that DRS as well, as Droftas is out of the session. Well, Droftas must have oversteered coming out of turn 1, slammed it into the opposite side of the wall. Such a shame for him, as we have our third safety car of the race, and I imagine this is going to be everyone diving into the pits for the soft tyres, and we are going to have a short sprint towards the end. Total P's leading, Jonathan Cox is second, and Denge in third. And Don Denge no longer has to worry about Droftas, who has crashed out in his attempts to catch up on those harder tyres. He is out of the race, and such a shame for the Welshman, who's looking pretty good to possibly even sneak onto the podium in this race, especially as I believe Jonathan Cox does have that penalty. And if Jonathan Cox doesn't get that penalty removed, it's going to cost him. If he doesn't pit now, he will have that penalty at the end of the race. If he does pit now, he'll have to serve it. And that will drop him behind Andenge and possibly even Fatality. We'll have to wait and see. Are any of these leaders going to pit? The safety car just waiting at the exit of turn 3 at the moment. And here we go. Total P's into the pits then. Don't speed on the way into the pit lane, making sure he is well safe. And it is soft tyres coming on, and I expect everyone is going to dive into the pits. Paulie Orange might stick it out. We've seen him do this before, and also his teammates in the pits. He might not want to risk the double stack, and we could see a similar situation with Red Bull, where one of the drivers decides to stay out. But it's going to be so much faster if they're coming now and put the soft tyres on. So it will pretty much stay as you were, apart from one driver. There's always one. There is always one who stays out on circuit, and this time it is Ole. He's got himself up into second place. There'll be 6 or 7 racing laps left when we get started. I imagine 6 laps at the end of lap 30. Ole's going for it here. He's going for something different, and this could work brilliantly for the Ferrari driver. He'll find himself under big pressure on the restart. We saw how much difference tyre temperature can make on the first restart when Total P's just absolutely sent it, and Jonathan Cox and others were in that melee in behind Andenge and Aylan. What can Ole do? 10 lap old tyres, he won't have the same amount of rubber to generate that heat. He is going to have to weave like his life depends on it to hold on to that place. Jonathan Cox will have served his penalty now, I believe. So he's in that third place with no penalties. Obviously won't be able to get it removed now. So he's looking good for a potential podium, as is Andenge. Getting a victory though, Total P's will be very glad he's come out of the pits ahead of that Ferrari. Because while the others are trying to attack it, he might just be able to streak away. We've got a similar situation to the end of the Bahrain race here. To the end of round 2, where we've got everyone going into the pits apart from 1 or 2 drivers. And will Total P's end out coming on top. We've got another lap under the safety car then. So as we approach lap 30, third safety car of the race. The first one was for CRX Mars, damaging his front wing. The second one was for his teammate Cruxy, who unfortunately crashed out of turn 9, and then Droftas, we just saw, lost it on the exit of turn 1. And that is what brought out our third safety car. And that is why, with 7 laps to go, you've got to say, we've got a fascinating ending coming up here at Late Night Racing. I think it's fair to say Droftas isn't exactly happy with the way he drove their bottle job, and I mean, I don't want to agree with you, but you said that, not me. Had a chance maybe of getting a podium here, but unfortunately he's out of the race. But at least it's going to lead to a very fascinating ending. We've got the entire back together. Mars, unfortunately for him, is still a lap down, so we know he, if no one else retires, is going to finish in 14th place. All the other places put names in a hat, ladies and gentlemen. This could be very exciting indeed. Safety car, I'm guessing we'll see the lights come off soon. There we go, safety car's coming in this lap. Bert Mylander speeds away, Total P slows it down, he controls the pace now. He decides when to go for it in this race. Most of the time, well in fact both times it has been, as we've come through turn 14 is when he's chosen to go on the entrance to 14 at the exit of 13. So I imagine he'll do the same again. It's worked twice for him. Ole won't have the same tyre temperature. You can almost guarantee that as those around him. Aylan gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not quite sure what for, as I didn't see an arrow move up there on his screen suggesting he'd overtaken anyone. So hopefully he'll get that removed. As Total P's is gone, you can just see Ole nowhere near able to react on the throttle. So here we go, 6 laps of racing left here at round 5. Total P's in the lead then, Ole in second place, and Denge going down the inside of Jonathan Cox into turn 1, taking advantage of a slightly substandard start from the AlphaTauri. He's up into third place. Fatality, he might be looking for a move as well. His teammates holding these guys up here and just allowing P's to escape in these early stages. Fatality trying to get the cutback, just too much throttle from him. Drops behind NUF1, Energetic 6 and Aylan, and even Treminator now beginning to put him under pressure. Treminator getting a bit of time actually in that safety car period. He was outside the points. He is now up into 9th place. The biggest winner though, as always, it seems to be under these safety cars. Total P's, look at what is happening behind him. Ole with nowhere near enough grip at the moment to catch up, so it looks like we're having a fight for second place. First is secured as long as Total P's can keep it clean, and that's easier said than done in these conditions. And Denge not close enough to go for a lunge, just giving Ole a little tap. No DRS until lap 33 for these boys now. Further down the field, we have had a spinner, and that is Farhad in the wall. Has he got front wing damage? I imagine. No, he's got away without any major front wing damage, so he's down in 13th. We're going to be very difficult for him to get any points in this race. Is Andenge going to send it down the inside, as he did to Jonathan Cox last time? He's gone for it. There's a bit of bumping between the two of them. Ole is still there, but surely he'll have to yield. He's not got the grip. That is Andenge up into second place. We've seen Total P's and Andenge finish 1-2 a couple of times already this season. We might get it again here. Jonathan Cox now trying to get back on the podium. Is he going to be the top 3 in the championship? Top 3 here at Zandvoort. 4.5 laps to go. Ole, the only man standing between Cox and a podium at this moment in time. And given the state of those tyres on that Ferrari, it's going to be very difficult indeed for him to hold that position for now. Because here we go, down the inside goes Jonathan Cox, not going for it there, but he'll have so much more traction on the exit. Well, actually, no, Ole did a pretty good job there, probably just because he's taken that wider line. He's been able to get away with that. Energetic 6 still stuck behind NUF1, and this is why I said he should have gone for it earlier. You don't know when there'll be a safety car. Now he's got to do it on the same tyres as his VIL Game Attack friend there. Both of them racing in VIL also on Saturday night. So NUF1 is in 5th place for now. Total P's with another fastest lap of the race. Ole going very defensive into turn 1. I'm not sure why, because Jonathan Cox didn't have the slipstream there and wasn't close enough to go for an overtake. So just costing yourself time. Don't defend thin air. There's no car there. Why bother defending? Well, Ole's going to have to do some serious defending this time around. Gets a good exit there. Coming out of 3. So for 4, 5 and 6, you can't go side by side through there. You can't go down the inside into 7. And Ole stays in 3rd position for now. Is Jonathan Cox able to go down the inside here? No, he's not. Has to wait another day. And perhaps that chicane, as I said, into turn 11 might be his best opportunity. If he gets a better exit here. And again, he's trying to go down the inside, and I'm not quite sure why, because that'll give Ole a much better run coming out of turn 10. So Jonathan Cox just needs to think about this a bit more, maybe be a bit more careful through 10. Might get a run on Ole, because you would expect him to have much better traction at this moment in the race. Although now that he's got DRS into turn 1, this might be a foregone conclusion. Not looking particularly close at the moment, but the grip of those tyres will come in off the banking. The DRS will come in. The Ferrari's got no ERS to really defend with, and there we go. Jonathan Cox trying to go down the inside there into turn 1. He gets that position. He is up into 3rd place. The next man for the Ferrari to deal with will be the McLaren of NUF1 in this queue of cars. Fatality trying to go all the way around the outside of Alan, recovering from an earlier mistake. He could have had a chance at the podium. He's managed to make it stick. They're still side by side. Alan has to yield. Great driving from the two of them, giving each other racing room. That is Fatality up into 7th position for now. Further down the field, you've got Paulie Orange battling for the final couple of points with the Red Bulls. This is the Haas meet in the Red Bull sandwich at the moment. Treminator just ahead. You can see Paulie Orange locking up. He doesn't use ABS. That's not giving him the best exit through 10. Paulie Orange just about able to hold off from KRC. Energetic 6 getting a penalty. We haven't really checked the penalty situation. Don't believe we've got any for the leaders. Unless he's got 6 seconds, he's safe at the moment. So this could be very interesting indeed once the penalties come around. Is Energetic 6 now closer than he's been to NUF1, but a bit like we saw with Ole, if you haven't got the ERS, you haven't got any straight line speed whatsoever. In fact, all these drivers seem to be running low. Fatality thinking about a move on Energetic 6. He might have spooked the Manol into going slightly wide here and might have a chance. He tried around the outside of Alan earlier, and it worked for him on the previous lap. Is he able to do it? KRC's in the pits, and he's retired from the session. So did KRC get damage? Or was he just accidentally ended up going into the pit lane? Because if you don't get that final corner right, it's very easy to skid across the track and end up in the pits. So he is another retirement in this race for 7th one of this race. We're down to just 13 runners at this moment in time, and that leaves Paulie Orange with a bit of freedom to maybe attack Treminator a bit more. It's 10 seconds back to the car behind him. Maybe he can afford to take a few more risks as he goes for that position. Out in front though, 3.8 seconds for lead at the moment. It's not looked comfortable for him throughout this race. He's had a few safety cars to deal with. He's dealt with them brilliantly, and he's going on to the final lap of the race, looking absolutely fantastic to take his 3rd win of the season. And Denge is going to have to settle for 2nd again. Jonathan Cox rounding out his 1st place last time out in China. He's going to continue that good form with a podium here. Who will finish in 4th position as Fatality defending from Alan. The Haas trying to go all the way around the outside. Can he make that manoeuvre stick here? Fatality still hanging in there, but this time he might be the one to have to yield on the inside for 2. That gives Alan the inside for turn 3, and that is for Haas ahead. Energetic 6 has made a mistake somewhere as well. Alan's been able to get past him. Fatality following through. So Energetic 6 on this restart, he's got a penalty. He's now dropped from a potential chance of getting 5th or even 4th. He's dropped down into 8th place, and that was really a bit of a desperate attempt at an overtake from him. You're not going to get away with an overtake into turn 7 unless the car ahead of you has made a substantial mistake and is very far over to the left-hand side of the track. And it looks like Ole's been able to get away from NUF1 as well, so staying out on those medium tyres definitely worked for the Ferrari. He came out in second after the safety car. The only man ahead of him was Total Pease, and in fact Energetic 6 is out of the session as Total Pease comes across the line to claim his third win of the season. It's another podium for Andenge in the Williams. He's got a few penalties though, so Jonathan Cox moves up into that second place. Ole knocking Andenge off the podium for now. NUF1 4th, Fatality 5th, Terminator 6th, Paulie Orange 7th, Andenge down to 8th, and that's how much penalties add up when there's a late safety car. Alan in 9th place. Farhad comes home in 10th with a big chunk of penalties, so we might see Vanderlei get promoted up into 10th. He was the last man across the line then. Mars came home in 12th position, but it's another win, third one of the season for Total Pease. Fantastic victory then for Total Pease once again in that Mercedes, proving he's going to be the driver to beat perhaps so far this season. 5 races in, he's been on the top of the step of the podium 3 times. Jonathan Cox in second, Ole in third, but it'll be interesting to see if Andenge does get any of those penalties removed in the stewards, especially if they occurred under the safety car. So here are the provisional results then from the Dutch Grand Prix, and it's another win and a fastest lap. Perfect 30 points out of 30 for Total Pease. Jonathan Cox in second, Ole going for that different strategy, taking third. NUF1 17th to 4th. Great job from him. Fatality is 5th. A good day for the Ferrari team. Terminator up to 6th. Paulie Orange 7th. Andenge 8th. And you can see there when the penalties come up, 10 seconds costing him. They also cost Alan, who dropped to 9th. Alex Vanderlei struggled at the start, but managed to come home in the final point. Farhad was 11th. Energetic 6 classified in 12th. After his crash at the end of the race. Mars was 13th. KRC we saw pull into the pits to retire. Drofdas, his incident caused the third safety car. Crux's caused for second. Liam had incidents under the first safety car. Svitsky, we saw him go for the hard tyres a bit too early on. And the Alfa Romeo of Seathais was 20th. And he was the first retirement, let's not forget. So that is it then for round 5 of the season here at Late Night Racing. Congratulations to Total Pease as he takes his third win of the season. We've got another good circuit there for the drivers and the cars to be tested on, and another circuit where the drivers and cars will find themselves tested on is next time around. Round 6 of the LMR season will be taking place at the Circuit de Catalunya, the Spanish Grand Prix. So make sure you check that stream out again next week, Saturday at 9:30. But for myself, Luke Etheridge, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys around shortly. Good night.